Well, what do we have here? It seems like Mother Nature decided to throw us a little bit of shade, literally. Those who are looking to capture this month's celestial event, we're not just witnessing the solar eclipse, but we're seizing the opportunity to capture its magnificence through lenses. It's time to turn those cameras towards the sky and snap some out of this world shots. But hold your hats, because this isn't just an average photo shoot. You need to make sure that you're safe. Okay, this is really, really important. So you need to make sure that you have the fundamental gear with you. I highly recommend that you make sure that you check out the app so that you've got your timings correct. You need to make sure that you've got the safety glasses to make sure that you aren't going to hurt your eyes. Please do not do this without this. You also need to consider the fact that you'll need to grab yourself a solar filter for your camera, otherwise it simply will not capture in the finest nature that you want to see it in. So before diving in headfirst into the shadowy depths of eclipse photography, we need to make sure that every moment counts and every frame tells a story. So let's make sure we get this right. First thing you need to consideration is your location. Obviously hunting out where the sun's going to be and being able to make sure that you're going to be able to witness it is important. There are plenty of apps out there, there are links down below to make sure that you don't miss the shot. Second of all, you think you need to consider is your lens. Are you going for a simple wide landscape beauty shot, or are you looking for something a little bit up close and personal? If you are looking for that up close and personal, then you will be looking at a focal length of 200 or more, and for a lot of you, you may not have that lens. Consider renting a lens for the event. There are plenty of perfectly good places that you can do this. If you're in the UK, check out Wex. If you're in the US, then consider something like KEH or MPB. The other thing is you need to make sure that if you are picking the correct solar filters, you are looking for something that meets the standard safety recommendations, and you're looking at a minimum of an optical density of at least 5 or higher. Because with that, the camera simply will not be able to expose for it otherwise. Obviously with your ISO set at its lowest, and a smaller aperture will enable you to obviously get as much detail as possible with minimising that overexposure. So it really is going to be about making sure that you get your shutter speed in the correct place and making sure that you get your focus right. Now there's a lot of debate over which focus you should be using, because obviously we have infinity and beyond infinity depending on your camera, and that's important because it's going to be changing light conditions, so you need to figure out where you're going to focus. Now a lot of people say you should focus on the moon because the moon will allow you to fixate on one thing and it won't get distracted by the contrast. However, there is different opinions on this. Personally, I put mine on continuous monitoring so that I can make sure that it's super sharp and check the camera focus is using the assist tools, because it shows my camera. You might want to consider setting it up on a tripod if you want to go for that beautiful staggered approach so that you can show the event in its motion. If you're looking to do this on your mobile phone, then obviously you've got a similar issue. You need to make sure that you've got the correct lens and attachments, because it will have a habit of overexposing. You also need to make sure you drop that exposure all the way down, because you don't want the sun to wash out that image. So can you take a picture of the solar eclipse? Yeah, but you must use a solar filter. Another thing, just to make sure that you guys are keeping yourself safe, consider using your video live view rather than using the viewfinder, because it will protect your eyes. Okay, please do not use the viewfinder in this because you could damage yourself. Now, a lot of people argue whether you can photograph the solar eclipse with or without a solar filter. Personally, it can be incredibly dangerous if you don't, so I wouldn't recommend it. I would make sure that you have the right filter to be able to make sure that you get this the way you want it to be. If you're looking for some ideas about how you can potentially shoot this, then check these out. If you're looking for that almighty shot, then realistically you're going to be looking for a camera lens that does a minimum of 400 millimeters all the way up to 1,000, and that gets expensive. But if this is something you're serious in and you're interested in, make sure that you check out these rental ideas. You can check out these places where you can rent a lens or buy a lens. Remember, your shutter speed will also cause a motion blur of the light coming through, and that's something to bear in mind. So if you're looking for a more crisp line, then you're going to be looking at wanting something around the 1/25, where if you're looking at that more sporadic approach, then you'll be looking at a quarter to an eighth of a second. Remember that there are the different phases of the solar eclipse, and it depends on which one you're looking for. And make sure you get creative on the different compositions that you're going to use. The thing you're going to need to bear in mind is you're going to need to be quick to take the solar filter. One of the biggest mistakes we see is photographers not taking off their solar filter during the totality. So once the moon has officially blocked all of the sun, it will obviously be much darker, and your solar filter will block you out from seeing the sun. You need to make sure you take it off at that point to make sure that you actually get the shot, but then you need to make sure you put it back on again to make sure that you're then not obviously hurting yourself. So one of the biggest things in the question is, how do you know which solar filter you're going to need? Well, I'll show you. Obviously, I highly recommend. So if you haven't got any of the things that you need to, the checklist is down below. If you found this helpful in any way, shape or form, then please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because we can't do this without you. Keep clicking, keep creating, keep inspiring, and until next time, happy shooting.